Dentro de un poco de la política de TED, ahora vamos a tener dos conferencias que van a ser en inglés. Esta va a ser la primera, de Joost Wouters. Joost Wouters es máster en ingeniería mecánica, ha sido responsable de ventas para Pepsi a nivel internacional para todo el territorio Benelux y en la actualidad es socio fundador de una consultora internacional de coaching ejecutivo, Actimpact, y tiene clientes en la actualidad desde Heineken, Nestlé, Vodafone y muchos más. Así que os dejo con Joost. Los que no entendáis inglés, lo siento, lo iremos resumiendo.
Question: who is facing the effects of the current economic time? And who would like to be still in business after 2012? Excellent. Okay, the coming 15 minutes I would like to demonstrate to you a powerful attitude that will help you to face any challenging time, including the one we are in. And I don't think I need to elaborate a lot about the challenges we're in. I mean, my father, who is 71 years old, he told me last week that during his whole life he has never seen anything like this. So there you have the evidence. We are in a challenging time now. What I do want to do, though, is I would like to pick out 3 dynamics and highlight the challenging time we are in based on the effect they have on our businesses. So the first one is what we are facing is the cutback in spendings. Due to several reasons, people not having a job anymore, people don't having salary, or both, the dynamics of spending is changing dramatically. People are postponing their spending or waiting for it. People are buying second-hand or refurbished material, or people don't buy at all. So, and if they spend anything, then they will only do it if they really need it. So not anymore if they want it. This has a big impact on your company. If you make products that are positioned as a want, you have to change it. You have to look at the proposition. Maybe you have to sell refurbished or second-hand products so people and consumers can experience your product for a lower price. Or maybe you have to introduce completely new products or focus on new target groups. The second dynamic I would like to highlight is the one of the value of money. Over the last 10 years, especially over the last 5 years, the value of money is decreasing rapidly, dramatically. And not even by the official numbers of inflation. If I look at the inflation over the last 10 years, that's 29%, so that's about 1 to 5% per year. But if I compare the value of money with something that doesn't change in value, like gold, I mean, you cannot change the value of gold. It's a piece of gold. You cannot change the value. However, the price of gold can change. And if you look what happens over the last 10 years, then the price of gold has increased by 450%. That's interesting. So the value of gold is the same. The price increases by 450%. What does it say about the value of money? A lot more than the 29% inflation. So if you have a business, this is something to think about. What do you need to do? Do you need to prepare? How do you make sure that the things that you have today have the same value in the future? Okay, and the third dynamic I would like to highlight has nothing to do with economics. It's the way we market is completely changing. Basically due to the internet. Since the internet, the web 2.0, the interactivity of internet, the way we market has completely changed. The traditional marketing, you can look at it as interruption marketing. You know, I'm watching television and then commercial, buy me. Or I'm driving on the highway and a big billboard says, buy me. But today's consumers don't buy anymore because you say you are the best. If you have a nice website and you say you are the best, people don't buy anymore. What do? They look at references. They look at testimonials. If I book a hotel, the next thing I do is I go to TripAdvisor and I check if there's any good remark. If there's a bad remark, I will not go to this hotel. Or if I want to buy something on eBay and I see that the seller has a bad remark, I will not buy there. And last week I saw a friend of mine, she wanted to buy shoes, and what did she do? She posted on Twitter, and she got 100 remarks from people that had good experience about the shoes. You have to think about this. The world is changing. It's much more about, you have to find consumers that don't know your brand. You have to transform, you have to draw them into your brand experience. You have to make friends of them. They need to get an experience of your brand even before they buy something, before they become clients. And then, and that's the great part of it, that's the beauty, they refer your product, if they like it, they refer your product to new strangers. So this is a complete new marketing model. Well, if you are still a traditional marketeer, and it still happens, almost all companies are still marketing the traditional way. Well, we use new technology. Yeah, you call it banner. It's still interruption. I'm watching my web page and then bang, a banner or a pop-up. It's still interruption. There's nothing to do with the interactivity. You have to change. So whatever perspective you look at, from the economic perspective or the change in marketing, it's very clear that the world is making a sharp turn. And I'm sorry to say, but if you are not prepared, if you're not open for change, if you're not willing to look what's going on, the new technologies and things like that, the chance is big that you will drive over the cliff. Now I have to wait and let this sink in. So a valid question right now would be, okay, so what? That's nice, but what do I need to do? Well, I don't know. I don't have a clue. I don't know what's going to happen. Do you? I don't have an idea. The world is changing so fast. So many things are happening. I don't know what's going to happen with the euro. I don't know what's going to happen with Spain or with Europe. I don't know. But what I do know, it's changing fast. So even more important than thinking about what to do is to think about what would be the right attitude in this challenging time. Because if you have the right attitude, you can be sure that the right actions will follow. Okay, so what I would like to demonstrate to you is the attitude, the right attitude in challenging times. And I will show in a minute what the golf club is doing there. This attitude can be summarized in 5 steps. The first one is take time to think. You won't get a lot of time to think about that, because the second one is be fast and flexible. The third one is communicate quickly, stay alert, and the last one is face anything. Okay, I think I would like to demonstrate this to you, and that's why I brought this golf club. So let's go to the first one. Take time to think. Someone told me that the game of golf is about 20% skills and 80% mental. If we look at the current economy we're in, the information economy, time to think is a difficult thing. Because we are literally bombarded by information, by email, by news, by newspapers, by talk shows, by radio, by conversations, by the internet. This is right now one of the biggest issues my clients have. How to make sure that we don't lose all our time and attention on all the disruptions and all the distractions and all the interruptions we see today. They manage their department from behind their inbox. They are constantly interrupted. They don't have time to think anymore. It's all, they change from proactive business builders into reactive firefighters. They're always running behind what's going on. And it's very frustrating, but they don't know what to do. It's almost they are lived by all the interruptions and all the news. Well, this has 2 effects. One, if you let all your time and attention be absorbed by all this, there's no time to think. And the second one is that, and that's more a risky one, if you are exposed to a lot of certain news, let's say negative news about a crisis or whatever, chances are big that you will vibrate in the same frequency. If everyone around you is saying, there's a crisis, there's a crisis, there's a crisis. Look at this, Greece, Spain, Portugal, la 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 la. You're vibrating in the same frequency. And this is exactly what you don't need now. in these times. You need to make sure that you stand strong, that you choose, that you are responsible for your consumption. And I'm not talking about the consumption of food. I'm talking about the consumption of information. 7 or 8 years ago, I threw out the television. We don't have a television at home. Because I want to be responsible for what information I get by when. And I don't want to be sitting and watching all evening and then hear all the stories that I don't want to hear at that moment. So this is an important thing. You have to become responsible for what you consume. And you have to make time. You have to take time to think. In this whole mess of information, you have to create space to think. How do you do that? Well, you could start every Friday morning, for instance, in your local coffee shop and think about, just for an hour. And you can think about what to do next week, what's going on in the market. Or you can become a master of your inbox so you don't lose all your time behind your email program. Whatever you do, if you actively plan time to think, great plans and ideas will follow. You can trust about that. You can really trust that. Now, that leads us to the second step. What to do if you have created a plan or you have a great idea. The second step is to be fast and flexible. To create a strong base plan, not to worry too much about all the details, and to make adjustments along the way. Let me demonstrate this with this golf club. Let's say this is your plan. The golf club is your plan. And to keep it in the air means success. Now, the only way to do this is to be fast and flexible, to make a base plan like this, to keep it in the air and to make adjustments along the way. You see? That's the only way to keep it in the air. Watch out on the first row. It's like making a plan. Put it in the market and make adjustments. Like this guy, he's throwing balls. And then over time he learns that maybe one ball needs to be black and not striped or dotted. One example, just before Christmas we developed an online program, a training program. And normally I'll spend months to make it perfect, but it's never perfect. So we put it in the market and now we have test users who are using it, but it's already okay. And it can only become better. So we can learn and we can adjust. So be fast and flexible, make a base plan and adjust along the way. Then the third one, the third step was about communicate quickly. You have to install feedback loops, quick feedback loops, and you have to act on it. You have to involve users, clients. You have to ask them, what do they want? And just to show the effect of quick feedback loops, if I want to keep this golf club in the air, I need to quickly decide or act on what's happening. If I would think, the golf club is going to the left, so I need to adjust to the right or not, I'm too late. I need to cut off the head. That's, by the way, a good idea. You have to cut off the headquarters if you make good plans. Leave them out. You have to act quickly. So involve the people who are using your product. Ask them like, what can we do that will make you happy? Because consumers are changing. They want to be partners. They basically with the same goal as you do. They want to give and they want to receive value. But you need to ask them. And don't forget to ask them that if they like your product, if they could write a testimonial. So you can use that to introduce new consumers. The fourth one is very obvious, especially in this game. I need to stay alert. I need to keep an eye on the market. If I would close my eyes now, two things can happen. Either you get the clip on your head or I get it on my head. Which both is not a good idea. Stay alert. Look around. Make it a habit to look around. What is happening around you? Not all companies are in crisis. I mean, look at Facebook. Well, we don't have to be the next Facebook, would be nice. But they are doing some things. What are the principles behind it? What can we do? What can I apply on my business? Look at new education. Educate yourself. Things are happening. New technologies are happening. Maybe you don't need to master the technology behind it, but you need to know what's going on and how to use it. Hire a young person who understands it. And the last step in this mindset is to face anything. Like in golf, ideally when I hit the ball, it will end up nicely on the green. But a lot of times it's not. It's ending in a bunker or behind a tree. The same with your business. You don't know what's happening tomorrow. I don't know, at least. So the only thing what you can do is to face it. Don't hide. Don't quit. But face it. And maybe you need to go back to step 1. You need time to think. And maybe you need to adjust some things along the way. But don't hide. Just face it. And to conclude this, I can only say that if you would adapt this mindset now, today, tomorrow, you will be prepared for the curve. And you will be an example for other companies, for other people around you. And I strongly believe that, especially in these challenging times, that when you are an example and you inspire others, that they will pick it up and that they will inspire others and that they can inspire it forward. That would be a nice world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Josh. It has been a really enriching speech. Bueno, seguimos.